Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us on the Faith Ignited channel. I'm Michael Bridges, Executive Pastor at Faith Ignited. I'm here with Aaron Shivington. Aaron, good morning.
Michael.
Aaron's our Senior Pastor at Faith Ignited, and we are answering questions, which we enjoy doing. And at the end of today, I'll give you some instructions on how you can send in questions as well. So, Aaron, let's get started.
All right, first question. Here we go.
First question, and this is an interesting one. I have to give you a heads up here. This is a tricky one for me. Aaron, someone wrote in, is the multiverse real? And is it anti-Christian to believe in it? So I think the first thing we're going to need to know is, what is the multiverse?
Yeah. So if you're part of the cinematic world with Marvel and DC Comics right now, you're probably well aware of this, especially if you watch the Spider-Man No Way Home. And the idea is that there are other universes out there that, again, the theory is that they resonate at a different frequency or some kind of scientific theory like that, that we can't see them, but they're alternate universes where the same people exist, but maybe they behave different because, again, it's a different universe. Different events have collided and transpired to make the situations they're in different than what we're in. And this is not new. The multiverse is not new. It's just become popular again because of Marvel and DC Comics. Um, but it's been around since really the 90s, late 90s. And the theory began ultimately as a question about, hey, maybe creation happened because, or we don't have to have God because there's a multiverse. And so if there's a multiverse, the one God and the world that we live in may not be the real God. What's interesting about it is that while it's fun to think about the multiverse, first of all, there's no scientific evidence for it. And so it's a theory, and it is a theory that maybe one day could be true, but there's absolutely no scientific evidence for it right now. But even if it is true, it doesn't really take away the need for a creator. All it does is back everything up one step because you still have to have somebody who creates the multiverse. And so, is it anti Christian to believe in it? I don't really know that it really impacts my faith because there's lots of things that aren't real, aren't true, that don't really matter to me in reality. But even if it is one day proven that the multiverse is real, which again, there's no evidence for, all it would do for me is it just backed up the question of the creator one more step. And we're going to arrive back at the same God. It's just one more step backwards. Even atheists right now, who, again, like the idea of the multiverse, remind their contemporaries that, hey, this doesn't escape the question of God. This just backs it up.
Yeah.
So even atheists who are prominent right now and leaders in our culture that are thinkers and scientists would say, yeah, this isn't a dodge of the question of deity. It's really just backing it up one more step to, okay, then who created the multiverse? So it's not anti-Christian to think about it, but it's also not real. It's kind of a comic book, cinematic type thing. It's fun to play with.
So, Aaron, let me ask you, because for my lifetime, we've heard NASA and scientists talk about life on another planet. If we can find life on another planet, or sometimes they say intelligent life, and I'm not quite sure why life has to be intelligent to be significant, or even water or something like that on Mars. It seems to me like that becomes the foundation for saying somehow God doesn't exist, because, like, hey, if we can find life elsewhere, somehow that's going to lead us in the direction of saying there isn't a creator, there isn't a God. And it's like, wait, that doesn't mean anything with regard to God's existence. God can make anything he wants, anytime he wants, anywhere he wants. He can make it on Earth. He can make it on 10 planets or a million planets if he wants.
Yeah. So first of all, the probability of another planet being able to sustain life as we know it is extreme, like 10 to the 100th power. I mean, it's some ridiculous number that I don't want to misquote anybody here, but so that possibility of life existing somewhere else is extremely limited. That being said, it doesn't mean it can't, and it doesn't mean that we have a creative God, and why not create other life on other universes? But the idea that, again, because there's aliens, God doesn't exist. The the idea behind that suggestion is that the aliens seeded the earth. That's how we got here. And what they're actually admitting is that there was an intelligent designer who created life on the earth. So even in trying to dodge God, the admittance is, yeah, life is intelligently designed. We just don't want to say it's God, we want to say it's aliens. Much like the multiverse question, we haven't really answered the question of God. All we've done is back it up. And then you go, well, then who created the aliens? And so you just keep backing up the question. Again, eventually you have to arrive at a divine creator.
You do, because something can't come from nothing
Right.
in the absence of a divine creator.
Right.
Yes.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. Aaron, thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us today. Check out our website at www.faithignited.church. Also, visit us on YouTube and on Facebook, and like our channels, and send your questions in through any of those methods. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.